You may think that this is just a regular old Monday, but here that's definitely not the case. It's the official start to our yearly Stars of Magic week in preparation for the upcoming Stars of Magic show. And here to kick the whole thing off is comedy magician Norm Marini. Norm, so good to see you again.
Thanks, Alex, for having me on.
You're no stranger to the show. You've been on for several of these previews of the Stars of Magic show. And so I have to ask you first and foremost, how long ago did you start doing magic and what got you into it?
I got into it as a kid. There was a local magic show here, or magic store, down on Grant. I went in a couple times and then got hooked and then stayed in it through the years.
Right, so you've been doing it a really long time, and it's comedy magic. What separates that from just doing regular old magic?
Illusions, no talking per se.
Yeah.
So it's very visual. Comedy magic is a little bit more interactive with the audience. You use some music, you do different routines, but it's, for me, I think it's more memorable for an audience if they're laughing, having fun, and interacting. So
a little bit more entertainment value, right? And so
just different.
I
think illusions are fantastic. I love it, but I like having fun and making people laugh. So.
Sure. And by day, what do you do?
Own a bakery, so it's kind of a contrast, but own a French bread bakery, La Baguette Parisienne. We've been in business for like 31 years now.
Wow.
So French bread during the day and magic stuff at night.
Well, that sounds wonderful all around for anybody who either goes to your bakery or watches your show. And so who would you say your influences are if you had to pick some from, you know, all the magic performers throughout history? As
a kid, it has been like the big names you've heard of. Houdini was one of the first. And then I fell in love with David Copperfield, and there's more current people that aren't going to be as known to the public that became real kind of like models. And so there's been many, but I think Houdini at the very early age is what really kept me going with it. As a matter of fact, Houdini.
Oh, check that out. How cool is that? Well, not only is Stars of Magic a staple here on this show at this point, but obviously also in Tucson. If someone hasn't been to one of those shows before, what can we expect?
You can expect a great show. It's actually a fun-filled show. It's a full evening show. There's eight or nine performers with the MC. So it's they have everything for if you're kids, adults. It's not a kid show, but it's very family friendly. So there's everything from close-up, comedy magic, and illusions. So over the years, it has been a mainstay. It's the longest running magic show by any organization, I think, in our magic fraternity. So we've been pretty successful with it here.
How long have you actually done these shows?
I think I missed, when I came into the club, the Society of American Magicians, I think I missed the first, maybe the second show, so I've been doing them since.
A lot of classic faces we're seeing in this video too that have been on our show, that will be on our show. There we saw George Franzen, for example.
Yep.
A lot of new faces also joining you guys, like Gabriel Lim, for example.
Yep.
But we can't have you on without you showing us a trick. So what trick did you bring for us today?
I actually I like doing magic with kind of like familiar items. So I have kind of a performing family. My grandfather was kind of a performer. So I would like to share with you something that was dear to his heart, and it's dear to my heart. And it uses some items that many of you will be familiar with, a glass and a bottle. And it uses two very special cylinders. And I say special, Alex, you're pretty young, but you remember Star Trek?
I do, absolutely.
And they used to stand on those little round pods,
yeah,
and they used to beam back and forth, right? You guys remember that? And these, I'm told, are made of the exact same material of what they used at Universal Studios.
How futuristic.
Okay, fine. I bought them at Walmart, but they look kind of cool, all right? So here's the deal. I'm going to use these two tubes, this glass and this bottle, and I'm going to make them change places right in front of you with no shenanigans, okay?
Oh my gosh, okay.
Now, it's very important in magic that it's all about details, that the glass is the same distance from the bottle as the bottle is from the glass. Otherwise, it won't work.
Geometry.
So here we go. If I take this tube and I cover this glass, and I take this tube and I... Whoops, I'm sorry. That was my mistake, a setup issue. If I take this tube and cover that bottle, all I do is snap my fingers, casting a mystical shadow over the tubes, and the magic happens. The glass is now over here, and the bottle is now over there. And if I were to remove them, they go back to their original positions. Now, I know what you're thinking. So far, so what? Well, a minute ago, I covered the glass over here, I covered the bottle over here, I showed you the bottle was over there, the glass was over there, then they went back to their original positions. Now, keep in mind when you're doing this, that this is the tube that always goes over the bottle, and this is the tube that always goes over. Whoops, I'm sorry, my fault, one too many bottles. This is the tube that always goes over the glass. You take them off, they change positions.
Oh my God.
I'll do it again, even though nobody asked. Now this is the tube that always goes over the bottle. This is the tube that always goes... Oh, I'm sorry, one too many bottles. Could be my fault. This is the tube that always goes over the glass. You take them off, they change positions. Now this can be done with one tube. Not very often, but we're gonna try it here today. If I were to take this tube and cover that glass, it would change right back into a bottle, but if I were to cover that bottle, it would change right back into a glass.
What is happening?
But in order for that to work, I'd have to have another bottle. Now, if I were to take that tube and go over that glass again, you'd see that it would change right back into a bottle, but if I were to cover that glass, it would or that bottle, it would change right back into a glass. But in order for that to work, I'd have to have another bottle.
Wow.
Which sometimes, but not always, leaves me another bottle. Now, for those of you paying very close attention, you'd see that I wasn't actually using one glass at all. I was actually using, that's right, you guessed it, I was using another bottle. But in order for that to work, I would actually have to have another bottle. Which sometimes, but not always, Alex, leaves me one more bottle. Now,
That's crazy.
I'd like to say for you, if I covered those two bottles, you'd see that I actually wasn't using one glass, I was using 2 glasses of rosé, and here's where I say, cheers to you and thank you for your help, but that leaves me a bottle here and a bottle here, and I really don't know where to go from there. Hey.
That's unbelievable. Round of applause, everybody. How incredible. I have no idea how you made all those bottles materialize, but it looks like enough for you and me to celebrate this show and the start of Stars of Magic Week. So, as always, I want to thank you so much for joining us.
Party later. And I want to mention that for the viewers of the Morning Blend, we are doing a discount on the website if you order your tickets through the website. And if you type in the promotional code Morning Blend, it's $2 off a ticket, so it makes it even more of a value. So.
And I'll reiterate what he said. The Stars of Magic show is taking place this Saturday at 2:30 and 7 p.m. at the Temple of Music and Art. Get your tickets online at starsofmagicshow.com and enter code Morning Blend for a $2 discount, like he was saying.